here's what I like to do. I'm gonna pass out some colored pencils, because for these, identifying some things with 3 different colors is extremely helpful. There we go. So I'm gonna pass some crayons around. Grab 3 colors. 3 different, as different as possible. Just make sure they contrast. Just go ahead and pass those over. They dry, I got you when it gets to you. I want to show you a technique where using colors to show each of these 3 ratios can really help identify the answers to things. So you'll see me using colors a lot. I want to give you an opportunity to use them yourselves. So I'm going to pick black, blue, and red from my 3. But you got to pick things. And on this next page, did I say 37? It's 37. Yeah. Page 37, we got 3 functions. Actually, I'm gonna take back blue. I want to use green because my functions are blue already. Okay, so what it wants us to do is identify 3 types of intervals. When is it decreasing and when is it increasing? So the first interval, I'm going to say it is going to be increasing. I'm going to use the color black. And when I describe the interval, I'm going to use the x value that relates to that interval. So as I'm starting from the left side, let's see what's going on. Moving to the right, this bad boy is falling until I get into this little bowl. So this location right here is a critical point. We change directions. Before this, I am decreasing. Wait, I said increasing was going to be the black. So therefore, the increasing interval is this one. It increases until it has an upside down bowl right there. So color number 1, the black, the increasing interval is when x is between -1 and +1. We can count these locations. So it's 1 each direction. So I'm going to say there's my interval for x from -1 to 1. It is increasing. So make sure you're putting a nice black highlight on that section of the track. Second color it says, so pick another color. Second color is going to be your decreasing interval. So anytime it's from left to right going down, that's going to be in green. And that's the first symptom we see, is that it starts in this green section. It's going, decreasing all the way until it touches that black. All the way to that same spot. And then after this x equals 1, it starts to decrease again. So it has another interval where we're going to highlight in green, or whatever your second color is. And it looks like the to be continued arrow, that's going to keep going. So for green, my decreasing intervals are when x is equal to anywhere from -infinity to -1, comma, another set from 1 to infinity. There are 2 decreasing intervals here, so I need 2 different notations. Our constant intervals on this one are going to be tough to see. Technically, there are 2 of them, but they're not really obvious And you have to do calculus to figure out, oh, okay, I can confirm those are constants. But there is an instantaneous point of constant right here. If I am exactly at 1, it's like I'm walking to the top of a very narrow mountain. There is actually a point where I'm going to be standing right on the peak, and I'm going to be looking perfectly flat. If I take a step back, I'll be looking way up like this. I'll be increasing at that point. Take a step forward, I'm constant. Take a step forward from there, and now I'm looking down and I'm decreasing. Does that make sense? So there are 2 points of constant here, but your pen isn't going to be able to show them because they're just instants. We have constant slope when x equals -1 or 1. So it's interesting. We are decreasing up to -1. If we're at -1, we're constant actually. And then if we're ahead of -1, we're gaining up to 1. At 1, we're flat. Only right at 1, and then after that, we're descending again. We're decreasing. All right. The second one is going to show this constant area a little better. So let's go back and do another one. In the middle one, we're going to use black for our increasing intervals. And where is that increasing interval? Let's color code it. We're looking for a section where we're cruising from left to right in an upward fashion. So we should see a nice highlight on this arrow, to be continued. Once I highlight it, it's easy for me to identify which x values fall into this category. This dot is 1 to the right of our y-axis, so this is the beginning of where we start to increase after 1. So the interval for x to increase is for x to be, I'm going to write it a little differently, greater than 1. For me, green will be my decreasing interval, so whatever color you pick for your decreasing interval, shade the area that's decreasing. And for me, I'm identifying it as the section all the way on the left side. From left to right, as it cruises down, we're losing altitude. And what point do I stop losing altitude? I can count to from my vertical bar. It's to the left of the bar, so negatives. 1, 2, 3. So my decreasing interval is when x is bigger, x is greater than 1. Sorry, I got confused for a second. My decreasing interval is when x is smaller than -3. There we go. So x has to be smaller than -3 or bigger than 1 for the increasing interval. I'm constant here, it's easier to see now in between these two values, so I'm going to give that a nice, for me it's red, my third color is red. Whatever your third color is goes there. Red. The reason I shaded it is because now I can go back and actually count the values that are pinned in here. From -3 all the way to +1. This function is constant. It's flat, it's calm, it isn't changing. In the third one, again, we have this one little instantaneous point of a flat interval. Let's start there. That's my color 3. There's only one location where I have this, and it's very difficult to see. It is 2 to the left of the bar. And the only way you're flat is if you're actually perfectly at x equals -2. If we try to go to the left, we notice it from left to right, it's actually increasing that value. So we're cruising up this curve and we're gaining altitude. We're increasing until we get to that red point. So up until x equals -2, we're increasing. So as long as x is less than -2, we're going to be on an increasing interval there.